Hit the record button right now, and we're going to get underway. What we're doing today is we're going to spend some time with one of our active members, especially active in the Skype group. Holly Starks Cooper is going to tell us a little bit about herself and about how she got started in, I guess you'd call it internet marketing. She's going on to work with a bunch of software. She does things with software that I don't know that much about, and so I'm looking forward to learning about it. But what she also does, I get you, some of the smart comments already starting in the question window. But what I think Holly does really well is understand how to work with video and how to use it for lead generation and what have you. So I'm going to check to see if Holly's on yet.
Hey, I'm here.
Yeah, boy, Holly's in the room. Holly, are you there?
Hey,
Can you talk?
yeah, hey, how are you?
Wow, that's strange.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you now. Cool. All right. So anyway, let me just say before I turn it over to this interview with Holly. Thanks again to everybody. We really appreciate it. The last webinar, if you haven't seen the replay, you owe it to yourself to watch the webinar, not only because it was crazy good with James Gregory sharing a lot of information that he's learned about local SEO marketing and SAP links and just a bunch of really fun stuff, but it kind of got crazy at the end because, and I don't even know exactly how it worked out, but we lost James, and then James would pop back, and then we'd lose James again. It's kind of hilarious. So if you can make it through to about the 40-minute mark, 42-minute mark, I guess, there's 4 or 5 minutes of reward at the end where you'll just laugh out loud funny at the combination of my frustration and James, us dropping James and then him coming back. But it was a lot of fun. Because his appearance was truncated like that, we certainly didn't expect it. We're going to have him back, and my guess is sometime in March. I've already got the first webinar in March, which is, let me check my dates. I think March the 2nd is what I believe it is. We've already got that one squared away and lined up, so you'll be getting some good stuff there. And I'm working on having Todd Spears, who is an awesome PBN person I've learned a lot from and makes probably one of my top 2 or 3 favorite plugins called Content Amigo was his baby, and he's going on to do a bunch of other things, but he's really good, and we'll drop a lot of strong PBN knowledge. As a lot of you guys know, that's my area too, and so that should be a fun interview. Holly, are you still there with me? Are you there, Holly? Strange. Let me check something here. Hang tight with me for just a moment, folks.
Check.
Preferences.
I need to make some meatloaf. Anyone can hear me?
Audio. Hang on just a moment, Holly. It's on my end, not your end. Okay. Are you there, Holly?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Okay, cool. Yeah, it was a problem with my audio setup, but we're squared away. Okay, so Holly, I did a brief introduction about some of the things I know about you, but there's a lot that I don't know, especially about your beginning. So why don't you take a little bit of time and walk us through how you got started and sort of how it's changed over time for you, and then we'll pick up kind of with an interview format.
I was just getting divorced, and my husband worked at General Motors, and so I didn't have to necessarily work. And then we got divorced, and I ended up having to go back to work. So I took a job because there was, where I live, there's like, it's really small area. And the only thing I really could find was, because I have 4 kids, I needed to be at home too. I literally delivered newspapers for $7.25 an hour, and I worked a total of, I don't know, it was like 15 hours a week. It was really like ridiculous. But that's kind of how I got started, because if I was probably still married, I don't think I would be doing the SEO thing. It just wasn't I was doing stuff like bootlegging videos and shit like that. So it got to the point, I kind of had to and worked for an insurance company doing data entry. And then I was working at RateWatch, and that's where I kind of got into doing SEO. That's really where I started doing AdSense and like clickjacking, because I didn't want to like work. I was working like 12 hours a day, and I didn't want to. I was lazy, and I needed to make more than like $10 an hour. So I started doing AdSense, and I bought all those things like AdSense Heaven, and I was total waste of money. For me it was, because I couldn't rank anything at the time. I didn't know what I was doing. And really the only way that I, got into it was I started buying courses off like places like Warrior Forum and Wicked Fire, and I was reading courses, and literally I did that for several years. Like the people who continually buy courses and just read them and jump to the next course and read it for the method, and they're like, oh, that was a good method, I'll just put that off to the side. That was one of those persons who just say, this is a good method, I'm just going to put it to the side. But I never go back to it, because then I find another method that was really, really good, or that I thought was really good, and then I would save it. And then I would read another course, and it was like, oh, that was really good. So I did that for a couple of years. I didn't make a penny on an SEO, and I made like a little bit with AdSense and AdSense jacking, but when you do clickjacking like that, I got caught real quick doing it, and then I had to pay Google like an extra 30% off the clickjacking because of, I don't know, I'm guessing because I made the publishers pay too, so I had to pay their bill more or less.
Right.
So I stopped doing that, and then I guess really eventually, maybe 4 or 5 years ago, I got into learning how to do PBN clickjacking. That's basically like, clickjacking was where you put up a website and can you guys hear me? No.
Gotcha. Go for it.
Hello?
Yes. Are you there?
Okay. Did you guys hear what clickjacking was?
Well, it sounded like it faded in the middle. It faded on my end, and I saw a couple of people type in the questions room that they had the same problem. So if you could sort of give a brief synopsis, that would be awesome.
Man, I'm getting a lag from you, Doc, but
Okay.
that's okay. So clickjacking basically is where you have a website and you put like a overlay basically. So it's a website, and then they're clicking around and clicking on links.
Right.
You guys can't hear me, can you?
No, it seems like we can hear you just fine.
Oh, you can hear me because my computer keeps on saying attempting to reconnect.
Yeah, I get that periodically
Right.
too,
Well, I
but
guess I'm right.
everybody's saying that they hear you fine.
All right. Well, that's good. Okay. So it's a website, and you're clicking. The person coming is clicking, but they're really clicking my AdSense ad. So I got clicked. I get money for you to click on it. That's basically what clickjacking is, and it's super illegal. So if you get caught, you have to pay back all the money they just paid you, and you got to pay a percentage too.
Right.
I mean, there's right ways to do it, but I didn't do it the right way. And then I did stuff like cookie stuffing on MySpace. I was cookie stuffing my Amazon link for like college kids.
Now explain cookie
So I
stuffing.
would go and join.
Tell people a little bit about what that means,
So I was
Holly.
joining a bunch of what?
Tell people a little bit about what cookie stuffing means, because there may be people here who have not heard of it.
Of cookie stuffing.
Yeah.
So basically, cookie stuffing was just like if you went to. I did flash cooking. So if you went to some place like MySpace and you posted on someone's page a flash image, and with that flash image it had my cookie stuffed into it. So if the next person came and visited that person's MySpace, my Amazon cookie would be dropped onto their machine. In the background, they just didn't know it because I stuffed that image.
Got it.
So I did that. Like, I went to a bunch of big bands and groups, and I just like got a bunch of friends, and I just posted it all the time. I had software that automatically posted.
Okay. Are you there? Can you guys hear me okay?
Okay, let's go on. So, where was I going
Well,
with all that?
tell us. I'm trying to work my way up to where you are now, but I want to give people sort of a logical progression about how you got here. Can you guys hear any of us? Okay. Well, I'm here. For whatever reason, Holly seems to drop periodically, and I'm not sure what the issue is. I know we're supposed to have some weather here in Maryland, but it hasn't started yet, so things seem to be operating okay on my end. I can sing
I'm
and
back.
dance. Okay, cool. She's back. You're supposed to do like James did and say hello. For anybody that can see, I stopped sharing my screen just because I thought that might help with bandwidth.
had everything I was supposed to have. I quit my job, and then the very next month, all 1,000 domains went down and got de-indexed.
Wow.
And this was about, I want to say 2 to 3 years ago. So, I mean, literally, it was like I can't even tell you how sick I was. Like, I could watch them getting de-indexed. I even tried to pull them offline by taking them down off my server. I took my servers down and everything. It went down one like that.
Wow.
So then I was in some serious financial problem because I had to refund that $30,000 for the month of all those people that recently paid me.
Yeah.
Then their websites tanked because they lost some really powerful links. So which is why at that point I went more or less underground because I couldn't like publicly be around for selling links at that time. And then I didn't have any source of income after that either because I had, like, nobody wanted to deal with me, more or less, is what happened. And, you know, I think the reason that they got de-indexed is because I had some of the biggest SEO agencies on there. I had, you know, we were ranking for car insurance. We were ranking for a lot of medical terms. We were ranking for SEO services. And any time after that, even with my new PBNs, if I put anything related to SEO services or SEO agency, SEO company, I tend to get those like de-indexed right away. So I don't put anything on my PBNs that are related to SEO. It was pretty easy too to get the SEO agencies on board. If you come to a company and an agency and say, look, I have 1,000 PBM domains that have 10 outbound links on them that have no footprints, that's never on this, you know, all my sites had different linking out. It didn't have, you know, I mean, like there was, like they would, you know, buy 20 links a month, but it wasn't like they were on the same sites. And
Right.
So, I mean, that, you know, it was pretty easy. I mean, people aren't going to turn that down. And it wasn't like I was asking a ridiculous amount of money anyways.
Hey, Holly, back to your mass de-indexing. What do you think was the genesis of that?
Well, it has to be because I had the SEO agency links on it.
You really think so?
I do because I think, and because I had car insurance. Because then the only reason why I say that is because they were ranking #1 for these terms, and I think that we got reported because it wasn't a manual review. It had to have been a manual review because I mean, I had 1,000 domains on 1,000 IPs. I paid 1,000. I had $2 per IP that I was paying. I had them on several different servers. You know, I had dedicated. I had VPSs. I had it however. the 3 sites above it would be my Web 2.0s, which was fine, but it would, like, you can't, your client doesn't like that. He wants him to be number one even if they get the traffic.
Right.
So that was a really big problem, and it still happens to this day. I cannot, like, if I put a link up and it's a powerful Web 2.0 or even a PBN and it ranks, I can't jump over that. I literally have to take the link down because, but now, I mean, you know, when you own your own lead gen company, then you don't have to do that. But, and the only, you know, he was loving it because I was ranking the lead sites and it was going good. And then I came across Ryan McKenny, and he said, you know, you got to try out these YouTube videos. And I was like, YouTube isn't going to convert. Nobody watches YouTube. It's such a, like, it's a dumb thing. I don't even watch YouTube. And,
right.
you know, I still don't watch YouTube. But, so that's kind of how I got into the YouTube thing, is they said you got to make the videos. And I was like, I'm not putting my face on camera. That's not happening. I don't want to hear my voice on camera either, or on voice, or, you know, I have this cackly voice. I hate it. So, yeah, that's pretty much how I came about with the YouTube videos. Is McKenny pushed me into it, and that's how I met Derek, and that's how I started going traveling. And it kind of like, that's how my course came about too, actually, is it blew up, is that everyone was like, you got to write a course out about how to rank YouTube videos. And I was like, this is not hard. Like, there's so many people that can do it. And they're like, well, but I don't think at the time maybe there wasn't any good courses out there. I'm not sure. But that's how that kind of came about.
Tell me a little bit about what you think makes the most effective videos and how you go about getting your videos created, because I know a lot of people ask about that kind of thing.
Like, I think it depends. If I'm in a niche like local, like locksmith or your AC repair, something that's an emergency type niche, it really does not matter what the video is, because if you think about it, are you going to really stand there for 10 minutes and watch a video on someone coming to unlock your car? You're not. You're going to call the number one person. It's just, that's pretty much the way it is.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the nicer videos, like, will work for medical niches. You know, it's going to work for realtors. It's going to work for probably pest control. But if it's an emergency type niche, you can just do a regular PowerPoint. Almost all my videos are PowerPoints, and they all do fine.
And they're relatively short too, right? I think 30 seconds, 45 seconds I've seen.
Yeah, 30 seconds to 45 seconds.
Yeah. So what types of things do you, I don't mean to interrupt you, but what do you emphasize when you're doing one of these trades type videos? Do you just, I'm sure there's a phone number, but what are some of the things that you think are important for conversion?
So we have done split testing, and my high school kids have all recorded, you know, the same exact script. It's welcome to, and I give a generic name. If you need help, call this number, and a receptionist will be standing by. That's really the entire script. I do not say more than that, and none of my kids say more than that. But we've tested even off Fiverr voices, and the men voice over the women voice, by far the woman voice converts like 2 to 1.
Really?
I would have a woman do it on any time. Oh yeah, and I think and I don't know if it's, you know, I don't know why, but it works a lot better if you have a female voice on it. I don't know if it's like it's more trusting because it's a female voice or not.
Yeah.
But we've done it at least 10 times, and the woman voice always converts better.
Now, who does your videos?
Usually it's me who does them, because I mean, it's just, I have my high school kids do the the grunt work of what I don't want to do. So they'll do the broadcasting of the video and they'll put it into the automated programs. But the video itself only takes 2 minutes because I make a generic video. I don't say, if you're looking for air conditioning repair in Miami, Florida, I'll say in Florida. And then I'll take that one video and I'll rank it for, the entire state of Florida.
Right.
Because if you're doing Wirecast, it's not going to come up as a duplicate content because it's a live stream. But you cannot, obviously you can't, upload that same video. You have to do it through Wirecast. So that's what my kids will do. So I'm normally the one who does it. On my Spanish niches, I hire someone on Fiverr, and it's a lady too, and she does the scripts for me, and then I just squish it together in PowerPoint, and then that's pretty much it.
Let me ask you a couple of questions that have come through the question module. One is, have you ever noticed a particular file size that once you exceed that affects the video's ability to get ranked in Google's SERPs?
I haven't, but my videos are also less than 2 minutes.
Yeah.
When I was in Ryan's group, there was people who had videos that were 40 minutes, and they were ranking it fine. So I wouldn't think that the time is going to matter at all.
Well, and plus static content, like a PowerPoint presentation, is, by its very nature, it doesn't create much file size because there's not a lot of stuff moving around that has to get captured. So I'm sure these are really small files.
Yeah.
Okay, here's another question. How much of a positive impact does embedding a video prior to streaming it have on the initial ranking?
I don't think it has any impact. I do it both ways, but you can definitely just wait for it to stream through.
Okay.
I don't see a difference, no, not at all.
Now, when you first put a video up, tell me, because you and I have talked well outside of this webinar about sort of what you do from an off-page standpoint and some of my theories and examples from an on-page standpoint. What are your priority areas, and how do you handle both on-page and off-page? And then on the off-page side, how do you do it? What do you do initially from a build-out standpoint, and what's your ongoing commitment to a video from an off-page standpoint?
So I'm telling you, I'm a lazy person, and I don't take more than 7 minutes on one campaign at any time in my life because I don't have an attention span to do that. So my video takes me 2 minutes, and then if I were to do it now, my kids, I would upload it through Wirecast. That would take another 2 minutes, pretty much. I put my tags in. I put a very short description. My description is exactly what I just said in the video because I read off a text file and I print the file out so it's in front of my face.
Okay.
Copy and paste it. If I have a lead generation site, then I'll put my description in my or I put the URL in my description. I put my tags in, and that's it.
Do you have a model format for any of these?
I change my location. I also put my location in on the video too. What was that question, Doc?
It was essentially, I guess, what I really wanted to ask was, do you have a model format for how you do your title? I've found titles to be really important. Longer ones, even better. What is your thought on that?
So for my title, I put my main keyword, I put my phone number, and then I put a secondary keyword.
Okay.
And I have been trying to use all of the space, where before I wasn't using all the space, but now I'm trying to use all that title space, and I'm trying to use all the tag space too now.
Yeah, I think great ideas. Okay, let's talk about off-page, because I think most of the folks who are watching this, they know your reputation for what you do off page. And so I'm kind of interested to hear how you first set it up, and then what do you do over time to make sure these videos continue to rank?
So initially, the very first thing is I'll take the embed and I'll put it in any program. You can, like, any embed program, FCS, SEO Rankwiz, Money Robot, any program. I at least put out 1,500 embeds right off the bat. I do not drip it. I blast it out. Take all those embeds, put them in GSA, and slam it with links, because essentially I'm trying to make it look like it's gone viral. And then after that, then I'll take the actual YouTube video and put it into a program like GSA or XRun or something like that, and run, preferably, I used to do things like 100,000 links a night, but it's been a little bit harder with GSA to do that. So now I'm doing maybe 20 to 30,000 links a night. So it's gone down, but it's still like working. And then I have a system that I leave GSA on for 4 days, and then I turn it off for 3, turn it back on for 7, and I turn it off for 2. And then once you have to turn it on and off like that, because you won't see like when it's on, you can sometimes it's like going backwards. It's not moving up, and then when you turn it off, you should see movement. So I'm trying to see where the movement is at, and then once I get the movement going, then I'll turn it back on, and then it'll go back, and then I turn it off, and it moves up higher. So I think it more like it's indexing the links, because I'm sending so much, basically.
Yeah. So to recap then, as soon as the video goes up, you do about 1,500 embeds, and then you blast those embeds with your initial round of spam, and then you circle back around later on and begin to send actual GSA links straight at the YouTube video.
Yeah.
With what kind of a lag time before you come back and do the GSA direct to the YouTube video?
Like a day or two.
Oh, okay.
There's not much time in between there.
Okay. Do you find that you need to do this for very long? Do you need to turn it back on after a month or two? I mean, what is the secret to keeping the video at the top?
So once it's at the top, there's not going to be anyone who can bump you. I've tried to bump myself off on like the Miami video and DUI.
Yeah.
I haven't ran links on those videos since since June of 2014.
Is that when you first put those up?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
The channel is incredibly powerful, but so is the YouTube video. They're not going to get bumped off unless I take them down. I've tried to bump it off with a new video, and I can't even do it. So, essentially, it depends upon, like, the competition. It used to be that I could run it for a couple months and then turn them off. But, it's been harder to bring them up in Google, so I would do it to 4 to 5 months, and hopefully it would be at number 1 by then. Once it hits to number 1, I might do it for a couple of weeks and then turn it off.
Okay. Let's deal with a couple of these questions real quick. Graham asks, why would you use Wirecast over just uploading a video? I guess he wants to understand how that process works a little bit.
You do Wirecast because Wirecast, which basically that means YouTube Live. It's Google's baby. It's YouTube's baby. It's a live stream. It gives more power than a regular YouTube video upload. If you take a test and you would do both of them, you do one regular upload and one YouTube Live upload. The YouTube Live will be number 1, 2, or 3, and the regular video will probably be at the bottom of the page.
Yes, and I'll tell you this too. I tried Wirecast on Holly's suggestion with my home connection, a 1 meg up connection, and it just totally came out like crap. So I would say probably in the range of 4 to 5 megs upload speed on your internet connection is necessary to have a smooth output.
Yeah, I'm on a 100 meg connection.
Yeah,
I have like business line.
yeah. Paul asks, how are you doing your GSA content?
So I take the same description that I put in YouTube and I may or may not spin it. And I put that in GSA.
Now, when you do spin it, do you
That's it.
just use something simple like Spin Rewriter, or do you spin it by hand?
I use Spin Rewriter, and then if it doesn't make sense, then I'll just like take a word out or something.
Clean it
But
up a
my
little bit.
description is like 6 sentences.
Right. So tell me this then. What, when you first move into a niche, you're totally new to it, you've made a decision. How do you build that out? Like what are your you can go big picture on this. You don't have to go into minute detail, but what's your sort of strategy for taking over that niche?
So I actually started doing one this last month, and I don't know the niche at all. And so what I did is I picked the state of Ohio, and there's 300 cities, and literally I put up about 200 videos at the moment, and I have some cities that have 45,000, some cities that have 7,000,
Okay.
and I try to find where the threshold is of the population that'll hit the first page right away. So then I'll mark that down, and I know anything under that population will be at first page, guaranteed more or less. And then really all I do with the other stuff is the same thing that I've always done is I hit it with the embeds, I hit it with GSA. If I cannot, like we're doing Columbus and Cincinnati, Canton, so I'll do different tests on different cities to see which backlinking process is going to hit the threshold to get it on the first page. And then once I know what that is, I'm going to not do anything else, but I'll just do this one. So if state will beat out the GSA linking, then I'll stop the GSA and I'll do the state for this niche because I don't know what this niche is going to respond to.
Right. Do you have a do you have a particular tool that you use? Have you found anything that's good? I use TubeRankJeet to help me, especially with on page for YouTube videos, but it's not particularly strong. I don't find it to be accurate for off page stuff. Have you found anything that gives you a pretty good look at what it's going to take to rule a niche?
No, I really haven't because every niche is different.
Yeah.
And like I don't know this niche at all that I'm doing, and it's aggravating me. If I went to YouTube and I put in a main keyword and then the states, in YouTube I'm the first, I don't know, 15 pages. But if I went to Google, it's like a 7,000 population is where my threshold is, which I would like it to see higher, but it's a harder niche.
Right.
And everything that I've done so far can only get it to page 2, which is, and I think it's because the competition is so heavy in this niche. So that's why I've tried things like safe links. That's why I fired up Money Robot to see if that would work, and I fired up XRunner. I've done GScraper. I've even done some of my private scripts that I have like that are links there that nobody else can see that except for me. I've done like buying expired domains and 301ing them to the video. I mean, they're powerful domains. I'm hitting that second page.
Yeah.
I can't get above the second page yet.
But you just started this month?
I started in January, yeah.
Oh, okay. I know you have a boatload of, you've got to have a lot of YouTube channels. What do you use as your criteria for whether it's time for a new YouTube channel? Like how do you group it?
I have 5,000 YouTube channels, and what I do is that they're all on the same IP, which people are just crazy. They're like, I can't believe you do that. But I have had the same channels for several years, and all on my home IP, and I've never been caught. But I'll do like Pest Control Ohio on one channel, and then on the next state, I'll do on a different channel.
Right.
So everything Ohio related is on this channel. Everything like solar panels in Arizona is on this channel. And I won't like connect my channels together. I mean, I'll connect the niches together, but I won't cross my channels with my niches. Like I'll connect it to a pest control, but I won't connect it to like PC repair.
Gotcha. What about you've never? I don't think. Do you buy views? I mean, what other types of promotion do you do for your videos?
No, if you buy views, it generally is going to get banned. So I don't buy views and I don't buy likes. But what I do is I actually don't talk about this at all. But I go and buy 200 pins on Fiverr, and I get 200 pins. And it sometimes that will put me above page 2 to page 1 just to have different link velocity.
Yeah.
So I'll do the 200 pins, and then I'll go to Fiverr and do about 1,000 tweets that are on that video too.
Gotcha. Have you found it to be more effective or less effective with certain types of videos?
There's certain videos, there's certain niches that will get the big image. There's certain niches that are easier to rank for, and there's certain niches that you definitely have to work a lot harder for, even if there's not any competition. It's not going to like you. And there's been times that I've actually removed an entire channel and started over because it was totally nonsense that it wouldn't rank.
Right. So I know you did one course that was just you, right, Holly? You did the first course, I think, was just sort of your whole method at that time.
Yeah, this first course I did is called Easy Hangout Blueprint, and that launched in April
of 14.
Of 14, yeah. And it still gets promoted sometimes, but
do you feel like it's a because I know there I can tell by the flow of questions on this webinar that there are people who want to dive deeper than we're ever going to go in one of these hour-long webinars. Do you recommend the content of that webinar, of that course still, or is there something that you've got that's more updated that people should be looking at?
No, that course still works fine. I go in more in depth about how to do the Wirecast and how to make the videos, and the little things that changed is like the speed of ranking, but the main course itself has not changed. It used to be you could rank it in 3 weeks without a problem, where now it's taking 2 months.
Okay.
But the course itself has not changed.
Tell me, not only, yes, Wirecast is a software, Tom. Tell me, how they can, is it easyhangoutblueprint.com?
No, it's this really funky link because I didn't even want to do the course. Okay. Literally, like they were forcing me into it. I didn't want to do it.
Read it out to me here, and I'll type it in as we go.
I'm going to send it to you.
Oh, okay, cool. Okay.
But it's SEO Commando because Tony Hayes is the one who brought me into this space. Tony was the one who said I needed to put the course together.
Okay.
So it's seocommando.com/easyhangoutblueprint, and then Holly Starks Cooper.
Now, one other thing I would ask is, I hope everybody can get that link okay. The other thing I wanted to ask is if somebody's not necessarily interested in the course, how can they get on your list? And I say that because you do some awesome interviews. You have a webinar series that's really good yourself. How can somebody join on so they can follow along?
The easiest way is to email me because I don't have,
Like a
and then
sign
I can put you on the list because I don't have a sign-up place. I used to have a sign-up place, but the problem with having a training class and doing SEO is that if you do the training class, it takes away from your SEO.
Yeah.
And as I'm sure you will find out, and anyone who does this will find out, is that whenever your passion is what you need to do. My passion is by far doing SEO. It's not training classes.
Right.
So that's why I don't have a sign-up place. But if they email me or Skype me with their email, I can put them on the list.
Okay. And for those of you who don't know this already, I'm assuming that if you're on this call, you're a premium member at Blackhat Community, but Todd early on set up a Skype room for us. The limitation, unfortunately, because it's a Skype limitation, is 300 people who are members at any given time. But if you're active and you intend to be active, I'm sure you can find a slot in there for you. You'll get bounced if you lurk eventually because, like I said, we have that 300-person limitation. But Holly's in there actively. I know I'm in there. James is in there. Todd's in there. There's just a ton of people that I can't even think of all the names of folks that have been doing this for a long time and kind of teach, throughout the day. Questions can be asked and answered in real time. And Todd's probably rolling his eyes right now because I know he'd prefer to have as much activity on the actual physical forum at the site as possible. But I got to tell you, for those of you who like information exchange in real time as much as I do, and I guess Holly does too because she's in there and active, that Skype chat room is as valuable a part of the Blackhat community subscription as I think you'll find. At least it is for me, and I use the tools heavily too. But I think the Skype chat is just, it's just amazing.
Yeah, there's so much information. I mean, I have certain days that I need to just, I have a spreadsheet of what my work is for the next 2 months, and the Skype group is always going off, which is fine.
Yeah.
But there's so much information there that I learn a ton of stuff that I'm just like, I didn't even think about looking at it that way.
Yeah, no doubt. Plus it gives you, I have some of the most valuable stuff that I've found in Skype chat is when we talk about concepts, like domain authority stacking has been a real hot subject lately, and it gets debated and talked about in its various forms in the Skype chat. And it's easier to do it when 20 or 30 people want to weigh in a relatively shorter period of time than it would be on a forum. So, if you can see your way through to, send Todd a message, join, see if it's for you, and if you're active, like the rest of us are, you'll be in there for a good long time, and probably will make a big difference in your SEO, whether you're an agency or just doing it for yourself. So anyway, that's enough for the Blackhat community commercial, but I really think it makes a huge difference. Holly, tell us a little bit more about the course, if you don't mind, about the course that you did. I know I don't think it's actively being promoted, but you did one with a couple of other guys, and I think your angle was the video part of it. What was that course all about?
That was called SEO Mafia, and that was put together with Jake Tanner and Derek Pierce. So it was really the initial reason we put together is because we were frustrated with a lot of different push-button type softwares. And so I took over the YouTube and Blackhat area. Derek did the PBNs and social things like Twitter. And then Jake was doing the local stuff. And Jake did stuff that I wouldn't have never even thought. Like, he has programs written to email bloggers and, like autoresponders. He has, like, outreach. I mean, he goes another level up above the white hat. I mean, he's really good white hat. He doesn't do any dirty links like I do, so it was a good match. And the course really is just surrounded around, we do a weekly training. Each of us do one weekly training, so, you're going to have one a month. And then we have a webinar every 2 weeks of questions and answers of anyone who has any questions about why isn't this ranking, basically. And that's pretty much it. We talked about having an SEO conference for our members for this coming year, but it's probably not something that we're going to do because I don't like talking in front of public, so it would be hard for me to get on stage.
Yeah. Well, Derek, for those of you who don't know, is pretty talented and pretty developed in the private blog network area, and he's pretty comfortable with webinars and speaking in public, so I bet he would be good at that. Jake,
yeah, he would.
Jake, I don't know as much, but I've seen a couple of Jake's webinars, and he is super bright.
Yeah, he's crazy bright. Like, when he talks, there's not very many people that make me stop. You know what I mean? Like, there's people who you can call bullshit to because, they're talking bullshit. But Jake, like, when he talks, you shut up and you listen to him, and he might drop a bomb, and you don't even know how smart that he just said. He went from, like, $2,000 a month to making $50,000 a month within a year.
Yeah, he was one of the OMG guys, right? Didn't he do OMG?
I think he did some OMG stuff, yeah.
Thought so, yeah. What's the URL, Holly, to get to that course? Is it still for sale?
No, the Mafia, we are not actively selling anymore.
Okay.
It's just something that we decided it was stressful for all of us to keep it up doing it.
It's hard. I thought when it occurred to me when I first saw it come out that you were biting off 3 like massive subjects in the course of one course, and I thought, wow, that must be really hard to put together, and would be even harder to find a way to sort of coordinate those strategies so that somebody could take all 3 and sort of wield them together into something that was big and workable. I couldn't get my head around it, how that would happen. So I'm not surprised to see that it was hard for you guys too.
Yeah, it was fun putting it together. And it was competition, competition makes my blood flow. I like competition.
Sure.
And so we were trying to bump off the OMG guys. Jake used to be Becker's SEO dude. He did the SEO research for Source Phoenix.
That's right.
And we stole them away. So it was a lot of competition, and it made our blood boil, and it was really fun to put it together, but 6 months afterwards, it's like we bit a lot off,
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
There's one question that I wrote down, and I should have gotten to it earlier, but I was called on, making sure that everybody else's questions got answered. Tell us a little bit about your experience, and I know you're relatively new with SAPE links, but how have you used them? How have you found them to be effective? What have you found them to not be effective for? Kind of tell us, because you can break. I tell you, this is the thing you people need to know about Holly. She can break anything. We accuse her constantly in Skype chat of breaking the internet. She blows up servers. She blows up entire services like FCS. They just bow at her feet. And so if anybody could come up with a range of experiences with SAPE, it would be Holly. I just have to know, Holly, what do you think about them, and what's been good and what's been bad about them so far for you?
So me personally, I hate SAPE. because I can't get it to work for me. And you have to know that I'm an impatient person. I want it to work within 7 days. I don't have patience for SAPE. I think that's my first problem.
Okay.
My second problem is I'm only testing it on one video. Well, okay, so I tested it on Source Phoenix previously, and I only gave it 7 days. So that was a complete bomb for me, and I took all the links away and was like, SAPE is stupid, it's not working. However, Derek was also testing SAPE at the same time. Derek sent SAPE to his PBNs.
Directly?
Directly to his PBNs. His PBNs then obviously had a money site link on it, and his money site moved up.
Okay.
But I'm doing it again. I have 16 links up. I filtered it like how James said to filter it with TrustFlow, and I'm doing like IPs. I think that ones that are 50 and above maybe. I have 16 that I placed 2 weeks ago. It's gone up like, I want to say 2 to 5 spots, which is driving me crazy. So that's why I say I hate SAPE.
Right.
And I just don't know if I am not a patient person.
Well, you did say with the source thing that you got a late start. By the time you really made the decision to go with SAPE, it was kind of late in the game to judge that, because you know how launch jacking is. It's one of those things you got to have everything in place as soon as that rolls out to get the early cream.
Right. I mean, and it's also, it could be that this niche is just dumb. Because I don't know the niche, so it's really hard for me when I don't know a niche to know what to target in on.
Yeah.
So, but I picked this one because I was like, well, this is the one that I need to get ranking right away. But it's not working for me the way that I want it to work.
Okay.
And what I actually started doing is I said that I want to make my own SAPE, essentially. So, I lost the 1,000 PBNs. It totally has turned me off. I moved to the Web 2.0s up until the middle of maybe until October. In October, I started buying domains again, and I have about 1,500 to 2,000 domains that I'm going to be turning into a SAPE network, I think.
Yeah.
But essentially, I want to be a big competitor like to SAPE. So I would probably, I don't want to do injections or anything like that. Like I want to buy 10,000 domains.
And then just do legitimate links.
Yeah.
I gotcha.
I mean, 10,000 domains, I can buy them for $12. So it's not like I'm not going to buy the auction domains. And I don't know if Google is watching auction domains. You know what I mean?
Yes.
They might be watching them now. So if I buy expired domains that are expired from 4 years ago, because I have a database of 50 million URLs, that out of those 50 million URLs were ones that were ranking. So I know, and they also have been dropped for a few years. So it's not like Google's going to be watching them.
Well, I can tell you this. I've been active for a long time now in buying GoDaddy auctions for my own private blog network and client private blog networks. And if Google watches in any way, they're not acting on it. So, I love sort of debunking these old wives' tales that get brought up about what Google can and can't do. I don't necessarily underestimate anything they can do, but I'm pretty careful to point out that I've got a lot of experience and a lot of domains in private blog networking, and I will certainly call BS when somebody says something about what Google's doing that I know they're not doing. And right now, I've easily got 150 auction purchase domains out there, and none of them de-index. So I don't believe at all that Google penalizes that.
Right. And, it's $12 a domain, and then I'm spending $30 for the content.
Sure.
And and it's not WordPress. Before I had WordPress, and actually after I lost that network, I built 200 Plig domains, and because at the time socials like that were doing okay, and Google wasn't coming after Plig network. So then I built a Plig network, and then on a subdomain I had WordPress, which that worked okay for a while, but it wasn't, this thing with SEO is always changing, always revolving. So then I had to change that network. So now my PDN networks are all HTML, because you can't leave a comment on an HTML page, so I'm knocking out all of GSA and the scrapers, basically.
Right. Tom Brown asked a question that I don't think really is up Holly's alley. But Tom, if you want to sort of talk about how to use Web 2.0 as a way to diversify away from just a concentration on PBN power links, then join the Skype forum. Well, for one thing, you could always ask it in the Blackhat community forum, but if you can message Todd and come into the Skype group, there's a bunch of us that can give you input about how to do that. All right, Holly, we've reached the end of the hour. Actually, we're a little past the end of the hour, and I don't see any other questions that are up here. Let me ask you this, because you basically have said that teaching isn't your bag, but you've gone out on a limb and done it a couple of times. Are you ruling out the idea that you would keep updating your content for those who want to learn from you, or I guess if that's the case, that means the only way somebody can really come under your wings sort of is to come into this Skype group at this point, right?
I'm actually getting my arm pulled to do 2 more training classes.
Woo-hoo.
But one is going to be advanced SEO, and it's going to be, and it really needs to be a private one, because there's some SEO really dirty things in there that people don't know about that I do. Like, I wouldn't say it in public. It would get me in big trouble. I'm sure if someone backtracked me, it would get me in big trouble. So it's going to have to be a really exclusive group, I think. But then we're going to be putting a PPC. You can bring PPC into doing YouTube videos, like clickbait products, and I track certain PPC people, and then I know what is converting, and then I'll just switch it over to a YouTube video.
Right.
So it's, yeah. So, yeah, there'll be a couple things.
So what kind of format are you thinking about? You thinking about just sort of like one-off training webinars, or maybe short series where you do 2 or 3 or 4 sessions and you charge for to come on each one? How will you do that, do you think?
So the 2 that are going to be coming up is going to be, one of them is 2 webinars. It's like an hour long.
Okay.
It's just like a live training. And then the other one is probably going to put a course out.
Oh, okay. A whole course. Back to the course thing, huh?
Yeah, take my word, it's not because I want to do it.
Yeah.
And it's just that, they've asked me to put it out because there isn't anyone else who has the course out like that. So, well, if you put the stuff together, then I'll show up. You just tell me where I need to show up to.
Guys, it's an awesome opportunity while you're thinking about this to message Holly and get on her list, because even in the Skype chat, she doesn't hold much back. She pretty much tells you what she's doing, like a lot of folks in there do. It's a real good interactive group. So I'll make the argument again that you become involved in the Skype group, and that you also email Holly and get on her list, because I'm sure that'll be the best way to find out when these courses, when these opportunities are available to you. Holly, is there anything else you want to share with us before we wrap things up?
I just want to say that I am really glad I found the Blackhat community and Todd, because I think like I was at a certain level, and in your business, in your professional business, you need to be able to not be the smartest person in the group, I guess you say.
Right.
And I'm definitely not the smartest person in the group, and I've left groups because I felt like I'm not going to learn anything here. And so if the more people are in the group, the more you're going to learn. And if you don't have the funnel vision, like a lot of people have funnel vision, you got to get out of the funnel vision. You got to try new things. So I mean, I've learned a lot, and it has upped my income status too, which is always a good thing.
Yeah, it's true. I think one of the great things about what Todd's building, and it really is, he lets it. You know what's great about Todd is that I don't think his ego gets in the way of what's best for the people that are a member of the community. I mean, you have to have some sort of ego to execute in a highly competitive field like SEO or, name it for that matter. But I think he literally sits all day long and thinks about ways that the community can be more helpful for people at all levels. And so what Holly said is really important. You can be very, very developed in something like, my expertise has been private blog networks for a few years now, but I feel like when I go into the forum or in Skype chat, I can learn about entirely new subjects, and I'm never overwhelmed. I never feel like it's way beyond me because there's so much interaction and so much. It's collegial, I guess, is probably the best word for it. It's not didactic. It's not hierarchical. We're all just we put ourselves on one level and we sort of share, and you get places that way. It's affected my income. I'm sure a lot of other people would say that. So, if you haven't become involved in it, by all means, do it. This is our third webinar. Holly has anchored this one, and before it we had sort of the shortened one with James that we're going to continue in the future. And then for those of you who were lucky enough to be on the first one, you kind of got to meet and learn a little bit more about Todd Foster too, so that you kind of understand how this developed and what his vision is for the future. Hope we'll all be around for a long time to enjoy it with each other. So Holly, thanks again. I really appreciate it. It's great to get to talk to you, and it's great being in the Skype chat with you.
Yeah, it's been fun.
All right, guys. We'll be back in 2 weeks. I've got a guest on the hook, and I will let you know shortly who that is. Appreciate your time. Have a good week.